Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You're watching PNT. I'm your host, Blatantly Obvious. Up front this week, according to multiple sources online, a gigantic rectangular iceberg has been recorded floating in the waters just off Antarctica. The enormous rectangle was first captured on film during a recent scientific flight, and a photo posted to NASA's Twitter feed, showing what appears to be a huge monolithic structure floating in the sea. This spectacular sight has raised numerous explanations that include aliens carving up the ice fields to the surfacing of a frozen relic of Atlantis or another antediluvian civilization. While the iceberg's sharp symmetrical lines are certainly eye-catching, the actual explanation for the object is far from outer or inner space. Scientists state that the chunk of ice is known as a tabular iceberg, which, while rare, are a direct result of calving, which is the process where a large chunk of the ice shelf snaps off and falls into the water. While smaller ordinary icebergs, such as the one that sank the ill-fated Titanic, are generally of a cone or pyramid shape, tabular icebergs are often much longer than they are tall, calving off the ice shelf in nearly perfectly straight lines. In the case of this particular frozen friend, a rare chance has broken the iceberg at right angles, resulting in our floating monolith. Here's hoping it doesn't decide to evolve a few penguins before it melts. Our next story takes us from the icy grip of Antarctica to the steamy jungles of Vietnam, where doctors at a hospital got more than an earful from a recent patient. Before we go any further, PNT must warn our viewers that the following footage may be disturbing. So put down that sandwich and don't say we didn't warn you. Physicians state that the anonymous man arrived at the Hoang Dui hospital complaining of ear pain and dizziness. During the examination, physicians were startled to discover a live cricket had apparently taken up residence in the man's ear canal. The video shows the oral invader moving about and appearing to scratch for food. Using an endoscope and a small tool, doctors were able to coax the insect out of its cozy new home. The relieved patient stated that he had no idea how the cricket had gotten into his ear and is expected to improve. For PNT's part, we can't help but admit this footage makes our skin crawl, but at least our plucky patient can take comfort that his unwitting passenger wasn't from SETI Alpha 5, which is probably for the best for all of us. Botany Bay, anyone? For the final part of our weekly roundup of the weird, PNT is pleased to bring you a curious case taken from the MUFON database. Occurring on August 31st of this year in Albany, New York, the video purports to show the classic TR-3B craft moving slowly over and even behind several tall buildings before finally vanishing. Let's have a look at the footage. So what was the object caught on tape hovering over an Albany, New York neighborhood? Ruling out the usual suspects of birds, clouds, and known natural phenomena, let's run down the possibilities that are left to us. The object or objects do not appear to match either the speed or light configuration of commercial or private aircraft, making planes unlikely. Even were several small private planes to fly in the formation shown, the lack of any engine noise in the recording would eliminate this theory. While we can never completely rule out the possibility of a prototype or black military project, PNT was unable to find any match among the military craft now known in use. The altitude of the object also counts against a military craft, as it is far too low to be in the commonly traveled air lanes, and with this, we again face the question of why any military force would choose to test a secret project over a major population center. We must, however, make note that there are a number of military installations in the Albany area, so this cannot be completely ruled out. Drones would be the next likeliest explanation, but would require 3 large commercial drones flying in perfect formation in order to achieve the results seen in the video. Again, as with the aircraft theory, the lack of any engine noise counts against it being drones, which are generally quite noisy. While lighted balloons could produce a similar effect, they would require a framework in order to move in formation, and the apparent size of the object seems to belie this as being a viable option. Then there is the matter of whether we are looking at one triangular craft or 3 smaller orb-type craft flying in a very tight and steady formation. As seen in our analysis of the footage, PNT used filters such as edge detection, contrast, and brightness enhancement to attempt to determine if there were any hidden edges that would be present on a larger craft or might indicate video manipulation. We found none, suggesting to us that rather than one craft, we are in fact seeing 3, flying with remarkable precision. This video is compelling in that the object or objects clearly move behind the large building, visible at the right-hand side of the footage, with no sign of edge overlap or distortion that the use of CGI would indicate. Whatever these were, the evidence indicates that these were solid objects and not added after the fact. So with most of the common explanations accounted for, that leaves us with the possibility that what we are witnessing here is a true unknown. Is it possible that these objects could be extraterrestrial or interdimensional in nature? Could we ourselves be observing the past through advanced technologies? Could our descendants be peering through the veil of time in order to understand themselves? Tantalizing possibilities, to be certain. But whether the objects caught on tape hovering over Albany in August were drones, part of a covert military operation, or something else entirely, we'll leave up to you to decide. Sound off in the comments section below with your thoughts. That's it for this time, faithful viewers. Be sure to click like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified when PNT presents your next portion of the paranormal. I'm your host, reminding you to keep an open mind, because a closed one shuts out the truth.